Have you ever wondered, why does your cat press or bump their head against you in a gesture more intimate than a mere cuddle? And what's their fascination with squeezing into any box they find? These behaviors might seem a little quirky at first, but they actually say a lot more than you might think. And speaking of quirky, have you ever noticed how cats seem to have a crazy attraction to the smallest, tightest spaces they can possibly find? Now, this strange behavior isn't just a quirk. This behavior is actually part of their natural instincts. Cats seek out tight spaces for comfort and security. In the wild, these small, confined areas allow cats to hide from predators and thus reduce their stress. It's a survival tactic, providing a safe place where threats can't easily reach them. At home, even though they're safe and there are no predators, these instincts still drive their behavior. Even more, when cats find themselves in these snug hideaways, they are tapping into their natural behaviors of observing their surroundings without being seen. Just as they seek comfort in the security of tight spaces, cats also seek connection with their human companions. However, it's a lot more direct and affectionately known as head bunting. Head bunting in cats is a behavior that might look simple, but is loaded with meaning. Now, when your cat bumps their head against you, it's not just seeking physical warmth or a mere hello. This action is a significant form of social bonding and communication in the feline world. Now, through head bunting, cats share their scent via glands around their face, marking you as part of their trusted circle. And this behavior is actually kind of like saying you're family. But head bunting isn't reserved for humans alone. Cats also use this gesture to create and reinforce social bonds with other cats. It's a way for them to mix scents and establish a communal group scent, which helps strengthen their social ties. And this is a very important part of their role in interactions. Now, this gesture of affection and trust contrasts interestingly with another common cat behavior, and that is ignoring their humans. It's a scenario familiar to every cat owner. One minute your cat is all cuddles and headbutts, and the next they seem to have vanished, ignoring your calls, and, well, they seemingly don't care about your presence at all. Now, while it might feel like a personal snub, this behavior probably has nothing to do with you as an owner and more about the independent nature of cats. Cats are known for their self-sufficient demeanor, which is a trait inherited from their ancestors who were solitary hunters. Now, unlike dogs, which evolved as pack animals dependent on social structures, cats don't inherently rely on a group for their survival. This independence means they often choose when and how they interact with humans. So when a cat chooses to ignore you, they might simply be enjoying their own space, reflecting their natural tendency to manage social interactions on their terms. And just as a cat's choice to ignore you is a sign of their need for personal space and independence, their behavior of rolling over and exposing their belly is equally confusing and yet very important. Now, when your cat rolls over and shows their belly, it might seem like an invitation for a belly rub, similar to what you might expect from a dog. However, in the feline world, this gesture carries much more complex meanings, and it isn't always a straightforward cue for physical interaction. This behavior is actually often a display of trust and comfort when a cat shows you its belly, as it's one of its most vulnerable areas. You see, in the wild, exposing the belly is risky, as it leaves vital organs unprotected. So when your cat does this at home, it's a sign that they feel secure and safe in their environment. However, this doesn't necessarily mean that they want their belly touched. For many cats, the belly area is off limits, and touching it can trigger a defensive response. Because, as you might already know, the action of rolling over and showing the belly can be a defensive posture. By laying on their back, cats are also ready to use all four sets of claws and their teeth to defend themselves if needed, which I know some of us have experienced firsthand. And in one last twist on that, this behavior can also be a way for cats to regulate their body temperature. Exposing their stomach can help cool them down on a hot day, as the fur is typically thinner and the skin more exposed on the belly. Now, here's my favorite. Have you ever caught your cat staring so hard at something that you can't see? Now, this behavior often puzzling and sometimes a bit creepy to cat owners, highlights their extraordinary sensory capabilities. You see, cats possess heightened senses that allow them to detect movements, sounds, and even ultraviolet light that are invisible to the human eye. Cats' eyes are highly evolved to maximize available light, as they can see in ultraviolet, which allows them to spot things that we simply can't. This UV vision means they might be watching dust particles float in the air, or keeping an eye on a small insect that glows under UV light, which are invisible to us. And beyond that, cats have an incredible hearing range. They can hear sounds in ultrasonic frequencies, which include the high-pitched communication of rodents and other small mammals. And this sensitivity allows them to detect prey or potential threats that are completely undetectable to human ears. And speaking of hearing things, have your ears ever been blessed by the sound of cats chattering at birds? One of the most endearing and comical behaviors exhibited by cats is their chattering at birds, or what we call cats talking. Now, it typically occurs when a cat spots a bird or sometimes other small animals like squirrels, and is most often seen in cats who have access to windows with the view of bird feeders or trees. Now, this chattering is believed to be an expression of their predatory instincts. Some animal behaviorists suggest that this chattering mimics the killing bite that cats use to dispatch prey in the wild, practicing the precise movement they would need to use to sever the spine of their prey quickly. Now, this theory is supported by the observation that chattering often happens when cats are in a heightened state of arousal from watching birds or other prey animals that they can't reach. Another interpretation is that the chattering is a mix of both frustration and excitement, a way to vocalize their intense desire to hunt while also being frustrated by not being able to reach their prey. Now, this sound could also just be an involuntary reflex, which occurs as the cat's hunting instincts are triggered by the sight of that potential prey. Now, one thing that's not normally considered prey, but still leaves us wondering and sometimes worried about this one, is why do cats nibble on houseplants, especially considering the potential toxicity of them? Now, while this might seem like an odd habit, it actually has some practical explanation rooted in those cats' instincts and, more importantly, their physiological needs. Now, one primary reason cats nibble on plants is to aid their digestion. Chewing on grass or other fibrous plant material can help induce vomiting, clearing their digestive tract of indigestible matter such as hairballs. Now, this is particularly useful for cats as their grooming habits cause them to swallow a lot of fur. Now, moreover, the act of nibbling on plants can also be driven by a nutritional instinct, and in the wild, cats occasionally eat plants to access certain minerals and nutrients not found in their primary carnivorous diet. Now, although domestic cats receive a well-rounded diet from commercial pet foods, the instinct to seek out those nutrients can still persist. If you've ever witnessed your cat suddenly sprint around the house in a burst of energy, you've experienced what's commonly referred to as zoomies, or frenetic random activity periods, aka fraps. This behavior, characterized by sudden, intense burst of running, jumping, or spinning, is not only amusing, but also perfectly normal for cats. But why do they do it? Zoomies are typically seen in cats who have excess energy to burn. They may occur because your cat is playing and suddenly gets overexcited. This surge of energy can also be a way for cats to relieve stress or simply express their joy for excitement. And it's actually more common in younger cats and kittens who have more energy to expend, but even older cats can display this behavior when they're feeling playful or a bit energized. And just as zoomies reflect a burst of energy and a cat's need to express their natural instincts, another behavior, urine spraying, serves a deeper way of communicating. Urine spraying is a more deliberate action, tied closely to their territorial instincts and social communication. Urine spraying in cats is a significant behavior that often concerns pet owners. Cats use urine spraying to mark their territory, leaving behind a scent that signals their presence to other cats. Now, this behavior is especially common in multi-cat households, where it can serve as a form of silent communication among cats, establishing boundaries and reducing conflicts over space. Interestingly enough, it's also a way for cats to signal their reproductive availability during the breeding season. While cats feel the need to mark their territory, it brings us to a different type of territory: a cat's love for boxes. Now, the sight of a cat squeezing itself into a cardboard box is both amusing and adorable. Boxes offer cats a sense of security, much like the territorial markers left by urine spraying. But in a box, and similar to the small spaces earlier, cats feel that they can observe their surroundings without being seen, providing a safe space where they can watch the world while feeling hidden and protected. The walls of a box provide an ideal shelter from which they can pounce on unsuspecting toys or the occasional human foot. Moreover, boxes provide an ideal insulated environment, keeping cats warm and cozy. The confined spaces of boxes also mimic the small enclosed dens that wild cats naturally seek out for resting and hiding. So this instinctual behavior is not just about comfort, but also about survival, where controlling their environment and maintaining a low profile can mean the difference between life and death in the wild. But there's more to boxes than just security. For a cat, a box is also like a playground. The crackling sound of cardboard under their paws, the intriguing corners to bite, and the flaps to hide under provide sensory entertainment that stimulates their natural curiosity and playfulness. And if curious cat behaviors interest you, wait until you hear about why orange cats are so wildly different than almost any other type of cat.